Hello everyone and welcome to EDU 40,003. We've completed assignment 1 and we're moving on to assignment 2. So we're very lucky that we've already completed 60% of our weighting for this unit, and we're heading into assignment 2. We've got a word limit of 1,200 words plus or minus 10%. We have a weighting of 40%. And our due date is not until Monday of week 12. So let's have a tiny look at our assignment here so you can get going on it. So for this assignment, it requires us to articulate our philosophies of teaching. We're asked to reflect upon our values and our beliefs. And it's important to reflect upon our teaching philosophy, particularly at the beginning of our teaching career. It tells us a philosophy teaching statement is a valuable document that will guide your future teaching practice and communicate your vision and beliefs to others, including families, professionals, and prospective employers. This is a great assignment to be doing towards the end of your studies when you really have a little bit of experience, a little bit of learning, and you're starting to understand the type of teacher and educator that you are. And this is a great way to share this. This will be really helpful when you're putting together your teaching portfolio. So let's have a tiny look here. So it's designed to extend our ability to reflect on the role of a professional. Reflection is a vital skill in knowing and understanding who you are in order to better position yourself within the context of teaching and working on educational settings. So this is really about reflection. So why is reflection important? And you're going to reflect upon your own beliefs and values and tell us. So your philosophy statement will be based on professional knowledge and contemporary practice. However, it should also reflect your personal values. It will be unique. You're going to be using first-person writing to express your views, and third-person writing to support these views with relevant literature. I'll give you some examples of what that might look like. So you should consider your audience, and your audience includes children's families, early childhood education professionals, and prospective employers. So when you're considering your audience, what kind of language will you use? Will you be using deeply convoluted and very high level of academic writing, or will you want clear and precise, well understood statements that any family or educator could pick up and really get a good idea of who you are as a teacher? So just consider your audience when you're putting together these documents. So your philosophy of teaching statement should identify and articulate your values and understandings about children, learning, and teaching. It should address theories, perspectives, and documents that guide your teaching. So, for instance, there might be some theories that you've covered in your across your units that really align with your own personal beliefs. So these sort of perspectives, it might be some approaches. We've talked about some upcoming trends. Perhaps some of those really spark your interest and guide your practice. Maybe some documents. There might be some key documents that guide your teaching. So one that comes to mind for me is UNICEF Rights of the Child. So things like that might help you here. You're going to explain particular approaches and teaching strategies that underpin your practice and how you aim to continue to learn and contribute to the profession. So we've got one document that will be submitted. Our two parts are, part A is a brochure, philosophy brochure of 600 words, and it needs to be designed with clear information for the stakeholders. So let's have a look here. You'll be writing 4, 5, or 6 visionary statements based on your beliefs and values about education and care for the various stakeholders. So our stakeholders are children, colleagues, families, and community. So if you're going to do 4 visionary statements for each of those, you'll have 16. And you're going to present these in a brochure format. You're going to make sure each statement is clear and concise and suitable for a wide audience. So that's where you're considering your language. Also for your wide audience, you might consider that you're going to use a clear font, that you're going to use a darker text on a lighter background. We want to make sure that everyone can read and understand what you've written. So that's really what we mean there. Use professional graphics and images. You might include some quotes, questions, or poetry. And you're going to make sure the philosophy reflects who you are as an early childhood professional. Please be clear about the personal and professional qualities that define you as an early childhood educator. So an example of this might be, so what's a personal quality that define you as an early childhood educator? So you might say a personal quality is that you have respect for the individual and uniqueness of others. And a professional quality might be that you value preparedness and the ability to be organized and planned. So that's personal and professional quality there. Part B, so this is going to be more like a text document, a Word document. So your philosophy strategy statements of 600 words. So these will support how you put some of your visionary ideas in practice. So you've come up with the type of educator that you are, and now you're going to tell us how you're going to action this. So this is the how and the why part of your assignment. So describe how reflection demonstrates an insightful understanding and awareness of the unique aspects of the role of the early childhood professional and particular challenges. So that's the how, and the why as well. Describe how you'll bring your visionary ideas into practice. So we've got our children, our colleagues, our families, and our community. And now you're going to tell us the actions that you will take, that you've presented, and you're going to tell us what you will do as an educator to bring these to pass. So you're going to have examples and clear strategies that will describe these ideas, and 3 or 4 examples for each stakeholder group. Please use a minimum of 6 references to support. So let me keep going because I've got a few things to show you here. There's our criteria. I'll let you have a quick look at that. For our pass grading, we want you to identify and articulate your values. There needs to be writing considered, including first and third person writing. Your brochure articulates your vision and you've used design features. You've demonstrated your professional knowledge, and then talking about the way it's presented. So your spelling, writing, your referencing and sourcing, and whether you've considered your audience, which we just touched on before. So let's have a quick look at our Padlet that we've got. Pop over here. So here we go, we've got our A2 Padlet, not unlike the one before. So this time round, you're watching the Flipped Collaborate video. Then we're going to have 2 live sessions, a brainstorming session in week 9 and a last minute Q&A opportunity in week 11 if you've got any last minute questions before you submit. We have our links there. And I just thought I'd help you with a couple of key questions. So remember, who are we writing for? So we're writing for our stakeholders, so children's families, early childhood education professionals and prospective employers. And part B, the philosophy strategy statements. So this is our how and why. So why is reflective practice important, and how will you action your own beliefs and values? So you're going to use first person and third person language, and I've given you an example on our tip sheet. I'll just have a quick look, see if there's anything else over here that can help us. How you'll format it. I've just mentioned that if you go online or you go into Word and create a new document, you can choose brochure, and there's lots of templates in there. There's lots of templates online that are free as well. So those might have images that are specifically child related, or they might just be something that's aesthetically pleasing in the background and not as relevant to education, but still very pleasing to the eye. Make sure we can read and understand your font and your referencing. It's included in the word count, how to cite your images, things like that. So let's pop over here to the tip sheet and we'll have a tiny look here. When we don't have an exemplar, I try and write a tip sheet just to help you get going. Once you've done all your research, you've reflected upon your own experiences. Perhaps you've been on prac and you were really inspired by certain teachers and their approaches to children and families, and perhaps that's the type of educator that you would like to be. So those are the sort of things that are going to help you start this assignment. So here's some wording that might help you. So for part A, we're going to be first person, and our writing is going to sound something similar to like this: I value, I'm inspired to, I acknowledge, I believe that. And then you're going to tell us what you believe. Once we've finished our brochure, then we go to part B, our philosophy strategy statements of 600 words. So you're going to use third person in here as well. So here's some wording that might get you going. So an example would be: reflective practices encourage and facilitate. Effective teachers work to reflect upon. So there's some examples there. So you can see how third person writing presents the importance of reflective practice. And then you're going to tell us how that you're going to action your values and beliefs. So you're going to tell us your strategies. So here's one way that you might attack part B. So you might say, I believe that. So for instance, you might say, I believe that all children are unique individuals and capable learners. And then your strategies, you might say, or for instance, let me think. Teachers Teachers can carefully design a program in order to be responsive to children's needs and interests and follow an inquiry-based approach to learning. So that's an example of a belief. So that's first person, and then a strategy that supports that. And then I've just given you some different examples moving down here. I'm influenced by this approach. So that might be one of the trends that we've identified here, or something that you found in one of our other units. It might be a theory. And then just down here, some terminology that might be useful for you. You know, you'll be building relationships. You'll be identifying certain colleagues that work well and value teamwork, things like that you might be popping in your assignment, because remember, you'll be considering colleagues as well in your as your stakeholders. Okay, and then I just thought I'd pop over here quickly. So this is just an example of one free a website that where you can build a free template. So I've just literally popped this in here. There are many on there. So I just wanted to show you that you could have images that